You got freedom, no hesitation or holding back. You got freedom to live your life the way you want to live. You got freedom, time to start letting go of all your
The
fears.
Cornhusker Libertarian Brief is produced from a firmly libertarian point of view, emphasizing individual liberty, personal responsibility, and limited government. Our content is rooted in core principles such as self-ownership, the non-aggression principle, free markets, and the protection of individual and property rights. This series doesn't aim to present a balanced or bipartisan perspective, nor will it apologize for that. We believe that a free society is built on voluntary cooperation, not coercion, and that Nebraskans deserve a clear and consistent voice for liberty. While our tone may at times be direct or irreverent, our goal is to educate, inform, and inspire civic engagement rooted in libertarian values. If you're looking for a conversation centered on government solutions, this may not be the brief for you. But if you believe that people, not politicians, know what's best for their lives, welcome aboard. Liberty starts with understanding. Let's begin.
Welcome to the Cornhusker Libertarian Brief, a sharp, no-nonsense series designed to educate, energize, and empower Nebraskans with the timeless principles of liberty, individual rights, and limited government. In a world flooded with noise and so-called fake news, this is where we cut through the spin and get back to the truth. I am the Cornhusker Libertarian, a husband, a father, a combat veteran, and a Nebraskan. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, and that oath didn't expire when I took off the uniform. This is how I keep serving, by challenging the system and defending the liberty. The founders didn't build a system to control us, they built one to protect us from the government control. That means government should be limited in scope, it should protect our rights, not pass them out like privileges, and it should serve the people, not rule over them. Government must remain accountable and restrained by law. Not everything is an emergency that justifies overreach, and power was meant to stay close to the people. That's exactly what the 9th and 10th Amendments guarantee. The government has been legally binded for over 230 years, and it's time we acted like it. Today, both parties have broken that trust. Mass surveillance violates the 4th Amendment, secret FISA courts trample your due process, and bailouts save millionaires, not you. The endless wars, reckless spending, and COVID mandates exposed how little they value your freedom. That's why these series exist, because liberty is not negotiable. So hit that subscribe button, stay informed, and join the fight to make the government serve us again, not the other way around. Good ideas don't require force is a foundational truth for every libertarian. At the heart of libertarianism is the non-aggression principle, otherwise known as NAP. The belief that no one should initiate force, threats, or fraud against another person or their property. It is the difference between persuasion and coercion, between mutual respect and state control, between a neighborly conversation and government mandates. In short, you own your body, your life, and your property. You have the right to make decisions as long as you're not hurting others. And no one, not even the government, gets to force good ideas onto others at the barrel of a law. We don't growl like dogs or attack first. That doesn't follow the non-aggression principle. We also don't foam at the mouth or call for new laws every time we are offended. However, we are not your grandmother's sleepy house cat, just watching from the window. We are vigilant watchdogs of liberty. Take Senator Rand Paul, for example. He's been called everything from the most obstructionist senator to an anti-American by critics simply for opposing COVID lockdowns, surveillance expansions, and excessive government spending. Representative Tom Macy has been labeled a grandstander, conspiracy theorist, and extremist by the mainstream media for standing against unconstitutional mandates and military overreach, yet he remains steadfast in defending civil liberties. Even other libertarian-leaning leaders like Justin Amash face intense backlash and were branded as fringe or unpatriotic for challenging the party lines and advocating for limited government. He was also called a rhino, Republican in name only, when he left the GOP to stand firm for civil liberties and non-interventionism. These aren't the names of a sleepy house cat. These are targeted to discredit watchdogs who won't back down from guarding your freedoms. When words turn into weapons, violation of NAP by federal politicians. In March 21, 2018, then former Vice President Joe Biden made national headlines when he said at a rally,
when a guy who ended up becoming our national leader said, I can grab a woman anywhere and she likes it, and then said, I didn't make a mistake, but they asked me, would I like to debate this gentleman? And I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
The Guardian reported in February 1st, 2016, at a campaign rally in Iowa, that then candidate Donald Trump told his supporters,
security guys, they said, Mr. Trump, there may be somebody with tomatoes in the audience. So if you see somebody getting ready to throw a tomato, knock the crap out of them, would you? Seriously. Okay? Just knock the hell. I promise you, I will pay for the legal fees. I promise. I promise.
These are not just tough talk. It is a direct incitement to violence, encouraging mob-like behavior and violating the non-aggression principle. Fast forward to January 6, 2021. We saw firsthand how such rhetoric can escalate, lead to real violence and chaos in the Capitol. Inciting aggression and ignoring peaceful dissent only deepens the division and threatens the foundations of our democracy. During the heated political climate in 2010, Sarah Palin tweeted, "Don't retreat, instead reload," and released a targeted map that placed literal crosshairs over 20 congressional districts, including that of Republican Gabrielle Giffords, who was later shot in 2011. Even if unintentional, these militarized metaphors from elected leaders blur the line between rhetoric and real-world aggression. These types of statements are endorsing physical violence to settle political disagreements. A direct violation of NAP. Now imagine if you said that at a school board meeting. You would be arrested. Language matters, especially when you lead. Here are a couple recent examples of the violation of NAP in Nebraska. Perkins County Canal Project, an eminent domain overreach. Nebraska has threatened to take private land in Colorado via eminent domain. Why? A 19th century water canal revival. Instead of cooperation, they were lowballing prices and threatening lawsuits. The mask mandate enforcement in Minden. Katrina Senzel, an elected school board member, was refused to wear a mask at a meeting. She was then forcibly removed, charged, and ousted. She was later reinstated by a judge who called it punitive and retaliatory. Bellevue Public Schools federal funding coercion. Bellevue Public Schools bowed to political pressure tied to diversity, equity, and inclusion mandates, changing the student policy to avoid losing a $10 million federal funding. This isn't genuine policy reform, it was financial coercion disguised as compliance. Passive aggression and an identity mockery, Mayor Gene Stafford, referring to a Korean woman's name as symbols and calling her a troll. That's not just rude, it was a violation of civil discourse and dignity. Now some local wins where NAP was respected. Ricketts said no to the statewide mask mandate. For instance, the city of Ralston implemented a mask mandate with a $25 fine. Similarly, Douglas County Health Director Lindsay Hughes issued a mask mandate in Omaha, which was supported by the threat of criminal penalties, including potential imprisonment for noncompliance. Governor Pete Ricketts held firm, no forced masks. Mandates breed resentment, let the people decide. He receives an A+ on civil liberty for this one. And then standing against the federal vaccine mandate, Ricketts told the state agencies not to comply with the federal mandate. That was what resisting coercion looks like. For each violation, OSHA could impose a fine of up to $13,000. If the violation was deemed willful and repeated, the penalty could be increased to $136,000 per violations. What if everyone used NAP? Imagine a political leader debated with civility instead of sound bites. The 1996 presidential debate between President Bill Clinton and Senator Bob Dole are often cited for their civility. Observers noted that both candidates maintained a respectful tone, focusing on policy differences without resorting to personal attacks. That would mean that there would be no more Sleepy Joe, Comrade Kamala insults, let's go Brandon chants, or you didn't build that. What if instead of dehumanizing the other side, we used the golden rule? You would have less Twitter drama, more thoughtful elections, and politics rooted in principle, not power. Good ideas do not require force.
Hey guys, I hope
you found that content informing. And if you want to stay up to date with all the Cornhusker Libertarian Brief content, make sure you hit that little subscribe button at the bottom. And finally, if you're feeling generous and want to support us, please use the QR code to donate. Thank you.